Seasons, cycles, loops. Oh my, what's going on? Seasons change. Well, first of all, this song comes into my mind at least once a week. At least once a week. It's like, seasons change. And I'm like, yes, they do. But today's message really had to come forth, inspired by a journal entry that I revisited. Inspired by a journal entry that I wrote 2 years ago to this day, August 10th, 2019. I was contemplating something last night, and I was just like, haven't I journaled about this before? So I flipped through my old journal, which is since complete. Luckily, I had it with me. I'm flipping through my old journal, and I get right to the page, and I read it, and I'm like, seems awfully familiar. And that is what inspired today's message, today's share. And it's almost like a little teaching, actually, because we're going to get into these season cycles, loops. Oh my, what are they? What's happening? Are they the same? Are they different? What? And we're going to get right into it. But this also highlights the power of journaling, the power of writing down your experiences, writing down your processes, writing down your philosophies in your here and now. Because then in the future, you'll be able to witness, am I in a season? Am I in a cycle? Or am I looping? And let me just say, they are different. Seasons, cycles, loops, they're all different processes in the human experience. We're going to experience them all, but they all serve a different purpose. So we're just going to hop right in, get right into the cycles, the seasons, the loops, and get into the message of it all. So we'll start immediately with seasons. And this is the information that, through my own experience, through my own attainment of wisdom and channeling and all these things that I've come to know. And I'm just here to share. So we're going to get into seasons. What are seasons? Seasons are like the spiral of life. The ever-moving spiral of life. It's not closed, it's always open, it's always moving ahead. It's like a spiral. Your season is going to be like your atmosphere. It's going to be like the conditions that you're met with. Summer comes along, the atmosphere of what summer is going to be like. Winter comes along, you have a general feeling what the atmosphere of winter is going to be like. But that is just the atmosphere. That is the condition. That is just the conditions that you're in. But in that atmosphere, within that spiral or that season, you have the ability, the freedom to do whatever you choose in that environment. And the way it was shown to me was literally as a spiral. Literally showing up as a spiral. And this is the center. This is you. And the spiral itself is the season. So let's say that this is summer here, summer last year, this is summer this year, this is summer next year. So you're spiraling outward, but you're getting to the same point, the same atmosphere, the same season, the same conditions, but you have the freedom to choose what you do. I'm not doing this summer what I was doing last summer. The condition, the atmosphere is the same, but I have the freedom to do something new, to do something different within this atmosphere. So the spiral or the season is really the overarching theme. What are you going to do with this atmosphere, with this energy? Seasons come and go, but every time you get to that space within the spiral, even though you've moved around and went on a journey, you're met back in the same space, just a little further out, with a little more knowing, with a little more wisdom. And you have the freedom to do what you will within that season. Now, cycles. The way I saw it was cycle is like the current or the circuit. It's that spark that keeps you going. It's the spark that's trying to get you to notice, wake up, and realize something so that you can move onward. And the way cycle or the current was shown to me was in something like this. Kind of like a current, kind of like a wave. It's a cycle. It's kind of up, it's kind of down, and it's just going to keep going round and round and round until you get what you need from it to move onward. So there's still a bit of freedom in it, but it's something that's more cyclical. It's going to keep going around until you see the cycle for what it is and decide to move onward from it. So when we're in the cycle phase of life, it's really calling us to focus on something in particular. What is this cycle that I'm in calling me to focus on? Our season was our theme, right? The atmosphere was the theme that we're in, and we're free to do what we will. The cycle is cyclical. It keeps going around the same pattern until you realize the pattern, you focus, and you can move onward from it. And the last but not least is the loop. And the way that this was shown to me is through a symbol that we're all familiar with, the infinity. The infinity, the loop. Now, through my own revelation and my own unfoldment, I do not see this symbol as something that's, everlasting and abundant and, all the things that this symbol is associated with. And this is just my personal view. You could take it, you could leave it, you could, whatever you want to do with it. But this symbol does not signify forever and always unfolding. This is a loop to me. This is entrapment, is the simplest way I can put it. Being trapped in the same loop. It's moving the same way, not going any place new, not ever really expanding, just kind of fastened in to the same ride. Imagine you just keep riding the same ride over and over and over again. And new seasons come, new cycles come, trying to make you grow and move into new places. But you just keep looping through the same story, through the same patterns, through the same belief. You just keep looping through that same cycle. And you can loop that same cycle forever. So it could mean forever, but it doesn't mean growth. It doesn't mean expansion. It means riding the same ride over and over again. That's the way I see looping. The loop aspect of it all is very inactive. It's not participating in life. It's not participating in your unfoldment and participating in the new season that you could be going to, but rather just staying in the same place, doing the same things that you've done before. So the cycles, the loops, and the seasons, oh my, they're all very different. They all show us a very different aspect of self. And if we take close enough note to what season that we're in, we can realize that we're in a place of freedom and creation where we can create something totally new in an atmosphere that seems so familiar to us, so similar. But we're not trapped to do the same thing in the same atmosphere. We're presented with this atmosphere again to create something new. And when we're in a cycle, when we're in a cyclical process, we're being given the spark, the current, the flow to focus our attention on what it is that we need to gain, realize, or overcome so that we can move beyond this cycle that we've been in. And then finally, the loop, in my opinion, is where we don't want to be. If you're looping through the same things, looping through the same circumstances, and never moving beyond them, having the same triggers and the same responses over and over again, you're really not growing. You're really trapped in your infinity. you're trapped on this ride, and it becomes not so joyful after a while once you realize that you're just trapped in this space. So I felt really called to bring this message forward and talk about the seasons, the cycles, the loops, because I'm always noticing them within my own story, within my own journey. Finding that journal entry from today, 2 years ago, I was writing about, ironically, similar emotions that I'm experiencing now. And that shows that it's a season and a cycle. And it could be a loop if I decided to do the same thing over again. But that's insanity. So to get out of the loop, you have to change your behavior, change your pattern, change your thinking, change your approach to whatever the loop is. For me, it was a feeling overwhelmed, where I'm in a place of such abundance in all areas of my life, opportunities, ideas, circumstances, my environment, it's growing. And this is what was happening 2 years ago on this day. It was growing. And I had to put my foot down and say, look, talking to my spirit team, talking to myself, say, look, I am grateful for everything that's coming in, but I cannot handle 50 million things at once. I need to focus on one thing at a time to move forward so that I'm not overwhelmed, so that I am in a state of gratitude, so that I can, actually process everything that's happening. I can't have a million things coming at me in a million different directions. And I'm in that space again now. I'm in that season again now. But I can decide to create differently, to move differently, and see what this cycle is trying to teach me, so that I don't loop through this cycle of overwhelm every time August 9th, 10th, 11 comes around every year. I'm not going to loop through it because I've pinpointed it. And again, going back to the power of journaling, if I didn't journal this, if I didn't write this down, I wouldn't have noticed the cycle, the season, or the loop at all. So taking action and really becoming the scientist of your own self, becoming the scientist of your own life experience, it's going to show you these different aspects of yourself. It's going to show you the different ways that you loop, that you cycle, the new seasons that you're in. So I just wanted to bring this message today and invite you to reflect. If you have some old journals, read through them. Look 6 months ago, where were you? 1 year ago, 2 years ago, where were you at this time? Are you looping through the same storyline and not doing anything differently? Are you in a cycle where it's just really trying to get you to focus on something so that you can move on? Or are you in a similar season where it's inviting you to step into this present environment, this present atmosphere, and create something new, do something new? The conditions are supporting you. So take some time to reflect, take some time to get clear, and if you're looping, get out of the loop. If you're cycling, move forward. And if you're in this season, embrace it. So I love you all. I hope this made a little bit of sense. If you want some loving, if you want to connect, if you want to go deeper, if you want to look into your dreams or the vision that you have for your life, and you just need a little heart support, a little focus, another perspective to look at things for you, I'm here for you. You can click the link in the bio. We can set up a quick 15-minute consultation, complimentary, and see how I can really support you right now. So I love you so much. Peace, love, and keep grooving.